Hi guys, cheers to haven't made a video in like a year. Let's be real. So obviously those of you who follow me know that I've had a lot going on in my life, and we're getting ready for my book release, and life's been hectic. Let's just throw that out there. Life's been hectic, but it's okay. It all means good stuff. Also, not wearing a bra today. Don't even care. Let's just be real. I don't know that I ever wear bras anymore. COVID, man. COVID does fun things to a person. I want to talk a little bit about something that I haven't ever talked about on here before, and it is a therapy that I have started, and I want to bring you along with me because it has truly helped a lot of stuff in my fucked up life. So here we go. EMDR therapy and ASMR, and I want to tell you kind of what that means. Y'all have heard me probably talk about ASMR before. ASMR is like sounds, and I don't have a good microphone to do this, but ASMR is really relaxing to listen to at night, or if you're trying to relax, or if you're trying to study. It kind of helps you focus, and if you're somebody like me who has a lot of problems focusing on sleep, when your mind is just racing a lot, ASMR is a really good thing. They do a lot of different sound techniques. My hair's a mess. My favorite has been hand movements. I don't know if you can pick up on that, but hand sounds are really awesome, and some of the things that I have watched have just given me such goosebumps because of the sounds. And I've always been I truly believe I'm kind of on the spectrum when it comes to certain things, and one of those reasons that I feel that way is because I really have a thing for sounds, and so certain sounds just give me the chills. So ASMR is a really good thing to help focus on certain things. So if you're somebody like me who really can't fall asleep well at night because your mind is just racing, ASMR is a really great thing to listen to. I've actually thought about doing my own ASMR videos just because I know that it's helped me, and I just think they're kind of fascinating. The other part of this is EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy. What EMDR truly is, in a nutshell, is it can help with phobias, and it can certainly help with people who suffer from PTSD. And if any of you suffer from PTSD, you know the ins and outs of that. And a lot of times people think PTSD relates to the war or soldiers, and that's not always the case. I was one of those people for so long that was like, I don't suffer from PTSD, I'm not a soldier, that's stupid. If I even say that I suffer from PTSD, people are gonna look at me funny, because I don't want any disrespect from people who really do suffer from PTSD. So it was kind of a hard battle for me there for a second, until I really started getting into the researching more of it and realizing what exactly PTSD is, post-traumatic stress disorder, where your body goes into this fight or flight mode when certain things happen because of certain things happening in the past, and your body is just that's what happened to you in the past, we have to react the same way because of memory, So I always say, for people who don't quite understand what PTSD is, something that always kind of helps relate it to people, or at the very least makes a person understand that it's more common than you think, is if you have a food that you tried once and it was absolutely terrible, you just wanted to vomit, it was disgusting, and now the thought of it, the smell of it, anything just makes you want to gag. That's post-traumatic stress disorder in a sense. Your body knows it doesn't like that food, so it's responding in a way to make you remember that it doesn't like that food. Or another way to do it is if you got scared in a room once because I'm just hypothetically making up this right now. Let's say you walked into a dark room once and your cat scared the shit out of you. Now, every time you walk into that dark room, you're going to remember your cat scared the shit out of you, so you're going to be cautious. That's PTSD. So in a nutshell, EMDR is, it's an eye movement therapy that does eye movement with sounds like ASMR sounds to get you to remember your trauma and then snap you out of it, in a sense. And what it does, and the reason that this works, is the eye movement is going to it's rapid eye movement. So kind of what you think of when you sleep in your REM cycle. You start to dream. I'm not a sleep therapist, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It starts off with rapid eye movement, and with that it brings out a lot of emotion that you probably pushed way in the back of your head that you may not want to remember, and that's okay. A lot of trauma we do remember, but a lot of it our brain blocks out of our mind for the obvious reason to protect us. EMDR really brings that back, and it can be a little traumatizing at first, but when you do the EMDR, what it does is it teaches you to, when you start to focus on that trauma, instead of going into anxiety mode, instead of going into panic attack mode, instead of going into shaking uncontrollably and having emotions, you start to focus on something else, so that when in the future, when that gets brought back up, you don't go into that. As like just a quick thing that I'll tell you about mine. I'm not going to go into detail about my issues because we all know that's too fucked up of a scenario. We'll go down that route. I was cheated on in a very not good way, and how I found out was a certain thing that I did. And now anytime that gets brought up into my life now, I immediately go to that day that I was cheated on, that I found out that I was being cheated on. And although that is very minuscule in the grand scheme of my fucked up life, this is something that I think a lot of people can relate to. So when I started doing the EMDR therapy, I also associated it with ASMR therapy. And I found somebody who does both. So now the EMDR therapy treatment, it'll start by having you focus on eye movements. I'm not obviously doing this right now, but although I think I want to, I might do this in a video too. You would focus on my fingers going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I would say, start focusing on that day. Start focusing on the day it happened. How did it make you feel? How did it make your body feel? Remember the tenseness of your muscles. Remember what you felt in your brain, in your mind, in your eyes, in your senses, in your hands. Remember the emotions that you felt. How did you deal with it the second that it happened? And so your brain is starting to think of this, right? As you're following my finger. And the second that you start thinking of that, I say trauma with some snaps, or just I say a word, and whatever you think of when I say trauma, I'm going to snap it. And then all of a sudden you're going to focus on my snapping instead of the trauma. Okay. It's really interesting to me, and it's so fascinating to me because I just have been so against therapy for so long. Oh, I'm going to cry. I've been so against therapy for so long because I just never thought it would help. My husband actually asked me why. Not that he meant anything bad by it, but as he has a psychology background, and he said, why go full force into this and why not start at normal therapy? And I said, babe, I'm just too fucked up. I'm too far gone. And it really hurt to say that because I know I am. Doing a few of these sessions has really changed my life, and man, I just didn't think that was possible. After the first session that I did, I found kind of a closure. I found a release to the point where I knew that if something got brought up into my brain, I wasn't going to focus on it like I normally do. And so you can do this in and any trauma that you may have. You can do this on abuse. You can do this on relationships. You can do this on family. You can do this on phobias. You can do this on death. I started out doing this for my cousin's death and my cat's death because it really, really traumatized me. As much as you don't think something traumatizes you, it does. It plays a big part in your mind and the chemical balances in your brain. And I was feeling like I was good about talking about it and going back to that day, but in my brain I knew I wasn't good. It was very traumatizing for me. I mean, even still, it's very traumatizing. It's a very traumatizing experience, even still. But now I'm in a better place with it. So when I first started EMDR, that's where I started. I wanted to see if it would work. And it did, it really did. And then I moved on to the abuse that I suffered and my PTSD from abuse and bullying. And man, I went back to childhood, and now I'm working on a phobia of mine. So it's been pretty awesome. And somebody messaged me this morning and said that, you know, how do you deal with your flashbacks? How do you deal with the amount of trauma that you've dealt with coming back into your life? And I said, have you ever thought therapy? And she said, yes, but they've called me crazy. And I was like, well, that's a bad therapist. Have you ever thought of a therapy for specifically PTSD? And she's like, well, I don't have PTSD. And I said, you don't know that you have PTSD, but you do with what you're telling me. It was very interesting because when I brought it up, she's like, holy shit, like, I think that's what I have. So I told her to look into EMDR therapy, and I hope that she does. I really hope that she does. But the amount of peace that this has given me is unlike anything that I've gotten before. And I've said this in my videos that I wish that I had peace in my life, because I don't. And I wish I could be one of those people that go on with their day and never think about any of their trauma. But I'm not that person. I have so much trauma and so much baggage. I have so much that I don't go a single day without worrying. I don't go a single day without thinking of what happened, because I have so many triggers, like trigger, 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 trigger. Everything triggers me, and it's the stupidest things that trigger me, but they trigger me, and it sucks. For instance, I have a big trigger when I laugh, because I was always told I was too loud and I had to calm down. It was too much. And my ex-husband used to tell me that all the time. So now I don't laugh. I don't laugh. And so when I do laugh, I find myself really pulling back, and it instantly brings my brain back to the day that I was told I was too much. As minuscule as that may sound to a lot of you, that really sucked for a person that likes to laugh and be loud. And I'm just a naturally very loud, expressive person. I can't do that. And so that's just part of it. You know, that's just one of my triggers. I have thousands of triggers that happen on an hourly basis. Those are just a few. My point of this video is I really, really hope that those of you who do suffer from things such as what I just explained, even if it's one trigger or 1,000 triggers, even if it's one person or 1,000 people, if it's one family member, one relationship issue, one specific occurrence that you were cheated on, one death, one piece of bullying in your life, one part of abuse, I don't care what it is. I really, really, really think you guys should check out EMDR therapy. It may not work for everybody. I'm no psychologist. I can't diagnose anything. It may not work for everybody, but holy shit, has it worked for me. So you can research EMDR in your areas. You can also honestly just, if you're curious about it, but you don't want to pay for it, or you don't want to, therapy scares you, that's cool. I have a lot of anxiety when it comes to therapy in general. I don't like to talk to people because I always think people think I'm crazy. That's another trigger. But you can look it up on YouTube. There's a lot of EMDR things on YouTube, and I can actually, the one that really, really helped me, she's an awesome lady. She's on YouTube, and she does this on her YouTube channel. She she nailed it, like nailed it. I'll link her in this. So I would recommend truly watching her. Now, go into this with such an open mind though. Don't go into this thinking, oh, this is such bullshit. Like, I'm gonna watch this video, I'm gonna move my eyes. Do not go into it like that, because I promise you it's not gonna fucking work. Go into it saying to yourself, I need help and I don't know how to get help, but I know I need it. And if something works for one person and they're saying that it works really well, why don't I just try it? You know, just go into it with an open mind. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. What I will tell you is some of the sessions that I have done have brought out a lot of subconscious thoughts. Now, you're doing a lot of rapid eye movement, so it's going to cause dreaming. It's not been good dreams for me. A lot of nightmares have come out of this, but the next morning after I wake up, they're done. Like, my thoughts are done, they're over. Just get through those nightmares. It will bring out a lot of thoughts that you don't even remember. So just note that. But don't be scared of that. I promise you, don't be scared of that. It's not any worse than what you deal with on a day-to-day basis as far as PTSD goes. So what I want to tell you guys is truly, truly check into EMDR therapy, check into even ASMR therapy, because honestly that helps a lot. But EMDR working in association with ASMR is a really, really magical thing. And I hope and pray that some of you can have an open mind enough to try it, because I really truly think that it will help. And I want you guys to have the help that you deserve. I want you guys to have the life that you deserve. I want you guys to find peace in your life, because I know how hard it is to not have peace, and I want you guys to be happy. So with that said, life's already hard. Your happiness shouldn't have to be. Y'all know my motto in life. Yeah. Signing off. Lesbian salute. Thanks, guys.